Good morning, I am the Mainly Digger. I don't like that one either. Good morning, evening, or afternoon. I'm the Mainly Digger. I hope you're staying safe and staying healthy.
Before I start this video, let's talk about Operation Reboot Outdoors. Operation Reboot Outdoors is a non-profit organization. This non-profit organization has one mission, and it's to get veterans and law enforcement officers back out into the Maine woods, to take them hunting, fishing, just to get them out. Here's some of their merchandise. All profits from this merchandise go to their mission. Join the Reboot Nation. You can join the Operation Reboot Nation by subscribing to their channel on YouTube.
I have an amazing video for you that I just put together. So much fun to do all this research and put it together. It is Shipwrecks of Maine. They're not really, there's some really famous ones, or really like historical shipwrecks in this video, and there's some not. There's a couple, there's one island, and it's called Boone's Island. I talk about that. I left out what they call in Maine Shipwreck Island, and it's supposedly haunted. It's I mean, I left it out because there's a lot of information that goes into it, and I couldn't get any decent pictures of it. But I have a lot of historical information in this video, and it's an interesting video just to think about all the shipwrecks that Maine has acquired, or has had over the years, over the centuries, from the Revolutionary War, pre-Revolutionary War, to I'd say the 40s. There's so much. I mean, yes, Maine is a coastal state, but over the time, like there's just so much. It's interesting to me, and I can't wait. If I could go, because I'm about 2 hours away from the coast, I would do a video. I'd do a couple videos. I would stay a week in one or two spots and do maybe a couple metal detecting videos, or just to show people what those spots like Castine. Definitely would hit up Castine. That whole region, the whole Penobscot Bay region, I would just love to. Pirates, there's so much history there. All right, Mainly Dig Out, watch my video. Thank you for watching.
So if I'm going to talk about shipwrecks, I'm going to talk about Penobscot Bay and Castine. Castine was held by the British for a long time. Before there were colonies, the British had established themselves there. It is a very historic spot in Maine, and I would love to take a day trip there and go metal detecting on wherever I could. But what I have in yellow is Penobscot Bay. It looks like a 2-year-old took a crayon. Yep, that's me. That's Penobscot Bay. But yes, if you ever come to Maine and want to visit something very historic, Castine, the town of Castine itself, amazing. So we're going to start off with shipwrecks in Maine that happened during the Revolutionary War, which would be the Penobscot Expedition. It is a historic site that you can go explore. The Penobscot Expedition was a failed attempt by the American Navy during the Revolutionary War. It went bad. It went bad real quickly. The ships were burnt and sank to the bottom of the Penobscot Bay. So the next ship that is at the bottom of the Penobscot Bay and was a part of the Penobscot Expedition was the British ship HMS Albany. It is a 16-gun slope, which this says there's 3 ships, and none of them say that it had 16 guns on it. But it is laying at the bottom of Penobscot Bay currently and is a part of the historic site. So I'm going to go a little further back in time when Maine was being explored. The ship Angel Gabriel, which was shipwrecked off Pemaquid Point during a storm, was the ship of Sir Walter. It was his last expedition in the New World. This guy was he wasn't really liked that well. He dominated Ireland for a while and then was put to prison in the Tower of London twice. He pretty much got rich off of exploring and controlling the Irish. So fast forward a couple of centuries and we come to the steamer Royal Tar. This is an interesting story because it was a circus ship. So there's a whole bunch of circus animals on this ship in Penobscot Bay. A fire broke out and they couldn't get anybody off the ship, or the animals off the ship. So it sunk to the bottom of the Penobscot Bay and was still on fire. So this is an interesting story. This ship was sunk off of Cape Elizabeth, Maine during World War II by a German sub. The American press or American military, DOD, didn't want to admit that Germany had gotten that close to American soil. It was sunk about 5 miles off the coastline of Maine. So years went by. They finally found the shipwreck, and in the press it said that one of the boilers had exploded. Well, when the divers went down there, all the boilers were intact, but they had found out that it was sunk by either a torpedo or a depth charge or something like, I don't know, but probably a torpedo. This is the William R. Frey, named after a Republican politician. It was built at Bath Iron Works before Bath Iron Works was actually Bath Iron Works. It was sunk during World War I, somewhere off the coast of Maine. That's all I know. So this is a well-known shipwreck in York, Maine. So every 20 years, or when a huge storm hit, the wreckage is uncovered and it becomes a big deal. This shipwreck was from a cargo ship and it predates the Revolutionary War. I would love to go see and go metal detect around this shipwreck. I think there's a detectorist who detects in New Hampshire and Maine, and he actually, in one of his videos, he showed the shipwreck. These two schooners collided in Wiscasset. I don't know the exact story behind them, and I don't know when, but I know 20 years ago when we would bring family members to Maine, we would always hit up Wiscasset because these were lodged in, because they were stationed in whatever river, I forgot what river is there, probably the Kennebec, and they had been there for decades. So, and I think they were just removed within the past 10 years. So, or at least that's what I heard. I haven't been to Wiscasset for a while, but it was always fun to go and visit or bring family members down there to see these two ships interlocked. So there's an island off the coast of Maine called Boone's Island, and it reportedly has the record for the most shipwrecks. So as you can see, Boone's Island is in the middle of the ocean off the beach of York in Maine. The first documented wreck on this island was in 1682. The ship Increase wrecked just off the shore. In 1710, the most famous wreck, the Nottingham Galley, ran ashore and broke in two. I'm not going to go through all the shipwrecks, but there's over 10. There's a lot of shipwrecks that happen around or on Boone's Island, or Boone Island.